Manus flat on the canvas. We are ready to rock and roll. Second round of action. There is a cut on Manus.
Jesus.
Martial arts. Yeah.
My man B-Hop, he got dropped out the ring last night.
I need a little judo baby. I need me a little judo baby, and let's do it, Ron. Let's hit me up.
You see what tells me that you got a face for radio.
That's got a face for radio.
That's nice. Martial arts chat.
Hello, welcome to the Martial Arts Chat Podcast live here on Spreaker. On this episode, we'll be looking ahead to this Friday's Bellator 200 event. It takes place at the O2 in London, and with the help, of course, from our panel here tonight, getting some predictions. But before I introduce tonight's panel, firstly a shout out to our sponsors, A1 Fight Gear. A1 Fight Gear use the latest cutting edge boxing gloves for professional and amateur fighters, gym enthusiasts and kickboxers. Local and national gyms in the UK. Do yourselves a favour, check out a1fightgear.co.uk. And if you're wanting to get into shape or get back into shape or just, keep the fat off, so to speak, go to bscale.co.uk and use the coupon code MartialArtsChat. You can save 15% off your purchases there. And they've got straps and barbell pads, strength and conditioning programs, core sliders, all sorts of stuff to suit your needs. So to tonight's panel, returning to the show from Nature of MMA, it's Mr. Matthew Penny. Matthew, how are you doing, sir?
Yep, doing good. It's I'm a bit sad that I'm actually attending Bellator 200, considering it's in London. But unfortunately, a mate pulled out, which is a shame. But I'm going to be watching this live on TV and looking forward to it.
Doesn't sound like a mate. Name and shame this guy. He pulled out, let you down. That's
yeah, mate called Josh. If he's listening, unbelievable.
Josh, you owe this man a pint. How dare you? I'm stirring up already. I've not even introduced anyone else. Anyway, also returning, delighted to see we have him for the full show this time. I am KP Podcast Zone, Darren Kinloch. Darren, how you doing, mate?
Good, thanks for having me back on. It's a pleasure to be on again without any technical issues.
Yes,
and it'll be good to watch. It's going to be good to watch a Bellator event at a reasonable time.
Here. Yeah, definitely, mate. Finally, they say Buddy Holly was the best thing coming out of Lubbock, Texas, and how wrong they were, because we've got the best thing from the Lone Star State, never mind Lubbock. It's Mr. Kevin Jones of the main event. Kev, how you doing, mate?
I'm doing good, man. I've had a kind of rough night last night. I've skipped over the hair of the dog and moved straight to Chinese food, so I'm feeling a little better. I'm ready to roll.
That's how we do it. Excellent stuff, gentlemen. Bellator 200, it's this Friday. Pretty big card, all things considered, and I'm looking for some predictions from you guys. You are the experts, but of course later we'll get to fan questions as well. Let's look at this card, and let's start with Aaron Chalmers. For those who don't know, Aaron has made his fame from the reality TV show Geordie Shore, and after 3 pro MMA fights in Bama, he'll make his Bellator debut in this one. Let's start with Matthew here. Matthew, is this a case of simply trying to build a CM Punk type star for you, mate?
Well, it is. I mean, you'd be stupid to say that it wasn't. He's there for his name. But despite what anybody else wants to say about him, I give respect to anybody who trains hard and steps into the cage. So he's now quit Geordie Shore, and he's now throwing himself fully into MMA. So he makes weight most of the time, and he trains hard as anybody else. Mm-hmm. His wrestling in his first fight, he had a submission win. It was decent. It was a bit basic, but it was decent. His opponents have always been quite low level, though. That's to note. His last 2 fights was a spectacular KO and some nice ground and pound TKO finish. So his striking, I actually saw his last 2 fights live. So his striking in the second fight was a bit sloppy. So it was a bit of a lucky KO. And the third fight was a ground and pound finish against a guy who I was told had 85 losses at amateur boxing. So
God,
take that. Take whatever you want from that. So his guy, Aaron's fighting Ash Griffiths. I don't know a lot about him, but I know he's got a 4-5 record. But he's still probably the best competition that Aaron's faced yet. Mm-hmm. So he's smaller than Aaron, I think. And I think Ash is actually a lightweight and Aaron is a welterweight. So like you said at the start, I think Bellator put him against somebody who's lighter than him, and it's for the name. It's for the name, and it's going to get like people who aren't really into MMA, like teenagers, like my little teenage sister, will watch it because Aaron's on it. It's unbelievable. I think he's been against low competition. He's a step up now, even though he's got 5 losses. He probably will get the win. But it's just a shame that Bellator didn't give him sort of a fighter who was even on his weight class. You know, they had to give him somebody who was lighter than him, smaller than him. You know, so it's a bit of a spectacle. But he does train hard. You know, I do follow him, and he trains as hard as anybody else. So fair play to him. He's getting wins, and these organisations are giving him the time and they're giving him the money. So if he's getting in there and winning and training hard, then, you know, kind of fair play to the lad.
Fair enough. Darren, what do you make of all this? What's your thoughts on this guy Aaron competing inside a Bellator cage?
Well, I've not really followed as such, because when you hear the Geordie Shore sort of tied into his title, you just kind of zone a little bit. But, you know, like you're saying, you give your hats off to anybody that trains and then gets in the cage and fights, and especially when your first few fights are going to be on such a big and large stage like that, people are going to be watching and they're going to nitpick at everything that he does. You know, it's going to be tough, but you know, if he gets this win, then it's on to the next fight. I think people are just going to judge him fight by fight at this point.
Yeah, I mean, it's one fight at a time, the old cliche, right? Yeah.
And that seems like what it's like with these type of fights, you know, with someone that's came from somewhere else that's not fighting. That we'll just take it fight by fight. Mm-hmm. And if he gets better wins, then I guess I'll probably start to notice him. But you know, training hard like everyone else, you know, then that's all you can ask of someone. You know, turn up on weight and fight.
Yep, 100%, mate. Kev, what about you? I don't know if you're familiar with this guy, but we've got a reality TV star turned MMA fighter. Have you got any thoughts on this, mate?
I know that he has a lot of tattoos, and he has a very good, very professional promotional shot that comes up whenever you Google his name.
Okay.
No, I've never seen the Geordie Shore. I regret to say that I have watched the Jersey Shore. I watched it for about a season one time. Whenever I can't remember why. But the guy. I mean, from what I can tell, just looking at his record on paper, it looks like he has definitely been set up to win his first three fights. Mm-hmm. I wish I had the combined record of the guys he was fighting. I think it was like, you know, one guy was 0-1, one guy was 1-4, and one guy was 0-3, I think, or something like that. You know, you see, I will say this: you see prospects that are, you know, come up in Bellator, and Bellator doesn't really throw them to the wolves like the UFC does, but there's always upsets happening with these guys that, you know, have some sizzle. You know, they move the needle a little bit, and it seems like it doesn't work out sometimes. So, you know, he's going in there and fighting a guy which you know, doesn't have an impressive record, but at the same time, neither does 3-0 doesn't amount to much to me whenever you look at the guys that he was fighting. So yeah, you know, I wish I knew more about him to crack some jokes. I'm sure if I would have watched it. But no, man. I mean, you know, yeah, definitely. I mean, I don't think he's on a. I wouldn't. Having not ever seen him fight, I still wouldn't want to put him on a CM Punk level because the guy still he appears to have some youth behind him. And yeah, I mean, anybody that people are getting excited about, I like to see him fight. I would really love it if we got to see Anastasia Yankova on the televised part of the card, and I feel like she's kind of getting bumped because Aaron Chalmers is on it. So that's the only thing I have against this fight. But yeah, you know, I'm interested to see it, see what he does. You know, but I would much rather prefer to see a world champion Muay Thai boxer on the main card.
No, fair play, mate. A big fight in the light heavyweight division. Two top dogs in Linton Vassell and Mr. Wonderful Phil Davis goes down. The Swarm, obviously, he'll have the hometown advantage, if you like, in this one. I'll start with Darren this time. Darren, your thoughts and your predictions for this one in the light heavyweight division, mate?
I think it could be just a straight up sort of win for Phil. I think, you know, that's what I'm feeling on this fight. And he's a top level wrestler, you know, and we've seen what he's done to people in the UFC who you could say arguably are at a higher level. And if you're going to come down here and fight on Bellator, my personal feeling is I think he's going to win. I want to even stretch it as far that you might get submission out of this one. And yeah, like, you know, it's hard to go up against someone that's competed at the highest levels in MMA. You know, I'm always going to go for that person, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, that's probably that's where the safe bet is. I think that's how you say it. That's it. You know what I mean?
Well, that's totally it.
Yeah, definitely. Kev, what about you, mate? Is it Davis or is it Vassell for you in this one?
You gotta lean on Phil Davis. I mean, I love Linton Vassell. I actually interviewed him one time, and it's very hard for me to understand what he's saying. He has a very thick accent. But, you know, that aside, he's floundered. And, you know, he flounders in big fights. And this is – Phil Davis is on another level. You know, it's like Daniel Cormier, my favorite. He says if you listen to the show, you listen to any shows that I've talked about Daniel Cormier, you know that it's a little satire in what I just said. But he you know, I love the dude. I wish the best for him, but he does flounder in the big fights, man. And Phil Davis, his cardio's on a different level. And when this fight goes into deep waters, which is where Phil Davis will take it with his wrestling, Linton Vassell is going to gas, and Phil Davis will get a stoppage. I'm guessing early in the third round, Vassell just won't have anything left in the tank. The guy's, you know, and it's weird to look at him. Phil Davis is so top heavy, and he has these little bitty legs on him. And you know, Vassell is a very muscled up guy for 205 too. And but yeah, man, it's just not there. You know, the guy used to be a bricklayer. You'd think he had a little more in the tank, man, because I know that's hard work. But yeah, I definitely see Phil Davis. Like Daniel Cormier said, there's levels of this game, and Phil Davis is gonna take him. It's like Bobby Gunn said, you know, wrestling with Phil Davis. Linton Vassell wrestling with Phil Davis is like, you know, being in the water with the great white shark.
Shark, yeah.
And so, yeah, I think he gets drowned in this stuff.
Finally, Matthew, your predictions for this light heavyweight contest, mate?
I'll make it a hat trick. I think Davis, you know, he's got great wrestling, great takedowns, has already been said. Awesome cardio. I watched his first title defense against Ryan Bader, and his game plan was a bit weak. I don't know what was wrong with him. I didn't know if something was up in that fight. I just didn't think he looked right. He didn't look normal. But you know, he's a national wrestling champion. I've seen a couple of Vassell's fights, and like he's okay, but nothing particularly great. He won't beat a national wrestling champion, so should be a pretty straightforward win for Phil Davis, I think.
Fair enough, mate. MVP David Rickles is set to be a cracking contest, and I love me some Venom Page, but I think the Caveman's got a shout here. If we could give him some serious problems if he gets that wrestling game going. But let's start with Kevin this time. Kev, it's MVP and it's Kansas' own Rickles. Who have you got, mate?
David Rickles is another guy that just doesn't win these big fights. So I mean, I have to go with MVP, and I really dislike the guy, man. His you know, the confidence that he has just irks me. He's goofy too. That whole shit with the Pokemon ball,
right?
wasn't that Cyborg after? I mean,
the flying knee, sudden finish,
and he caves this dude's forehead in, and then rolls a Pokemon ball over him. You know, man, I never liked Pokemon, so I don't know, man. The dude is very spectacular to watch. He reminds me, I've said it before, and he reminds me, his striking style reminds me a lot of Anderson Silva, and the way that he kind of does what he wants to do in there and picks his shots, and there's just some ridiculous shit that he throws at him. David Rickles is not going to see what's coming, and he gets stopped first round. MVP, no doubt. And you know, David Rickles is a very, very game guy. That's not what you need whenever you go in there to fight Michael Venom Page.
I suppose.
You know, putting your head down and trying to grind it out against a guy that has the repertoire in his kicks and his strikes that Michael Venom Page has. You know, it reminds me a lot of a boxing match I saw a couple weeks ago. where, you know, and the number one rule about going into a fight is if you can get the other guy to fight your fight, then you're going to win 9 times out of 10. And David Rickles does not have a plan B. You know what I mean? I don't think he gets close enough to take him down. I think the range that Michael Venom Page has will be more than enough to keep him off of him. And the way he moves his feet and where he gets the angles where he wants to be and stays in the range that he wants to be. David Rickles is in for a long night and a short night, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, definitely it does. Just when you were painting that picture there of, Rickles maybe trying to do the right thing, head down and just go for it, but no plan B. Yeah, when you're saying that, Kev, all I can think about is Anderson Silva, Forrest Griffin. You know what I mean? It's just like the boy was trying his best, but God love him. But another level, really. It's Matrix stuff.
One of my favorite things that Forrest Griffin said about that fight was when he was trying to hit Anderson Silva. And he'd swing at him and just miss him terribly, and Anderson Silva would look at him. And he kind of thought came across Forrest Griffith's mind that he was thinking, "Did you think you were going to hit me, you stupid ass?"
Yeah.
Why were you so dumb to think that you were going to hit that punch?
That's it, mate. Matthew, how about you? Is it another highlight reel finish for Page, you think, in this one?
Yeah, like Kevin, his confidence does annoy me a bit. But, you know, he's unbeaten in MMA, kickboxing, professional boxing. Like, you know, at the moment, he seems to be able to do it all. So... And I think he's quite young still. Like, he's still got quite a few years ahead of him. I think he's 30, 31. So, you know, he himself has said that he likes to have a kickboxing style. But just look at all his wins. You know, I think he's won a few by submission, a few by TKO, a few by KO. You know, I don't know a massive amount about Rickles, to be honest. But from what I've seen, he looks good in the clinch. But I just don't think he's going to get that close. Like, I think MVP is going to be too rangy. I think he's going to keep him, you know, a decent distance away, kicks, strikes. It should be MVP's fight completely. But also to note, I always look at the weight classes because Bellator seem like their weight classes in Bellator just seem to be a bit fluid. Again, Rickles is a lightweight, so like Aaron Chalmers' fight, he's fighting above a weight of him, and it's just okay. There might be a similar weights on fight night, but it just bugs me a little bit. Like, it's not Rickles' own weight, so. Again, it's more stats to MVP, more reason to win. So yeah, I can't see anything but an MVP win here.
Fair enough. You know, Page had trouble with you know, I think Fernando Gonzalez cooked him the distance. Fernando Gonzalez is a big guy.
Yeah,
you know, and that's something that I thought about too. Is this is a fight that's tailor made for him? Rickles can't do what Gonzalez did in the fight against the MVP.
Yeah.
He doesn't have a weight.
Darren, what's your thoughts? Have you got a pick for MVP and Rickles?
Yeah, well, as regards to MVP, he does kind of frustrate you with his sort of personality slightly. You know, he's good, obviously, and when someone knows it, it's hard to sort of watch that and swallow it at the same time. But Rickles, you know, he's tough, he's well conditioned, and he comes forward, and that I think he will use that against him and punish him, you know, but no one covers the distance like Michael Venom Page in Bellator at that weight category either, you know, so I think this is really going to be a one-sided fight, and it's going to be short as well. I just don't see it going any other way. I mean, how Rickles might win is possibly try and make MVP gas slightly somehow, but that's not going to happen. It's too one-sided for me, you know. But yeah, we'll see. Hopefully, I'm going to go with Michael Venom Page by knockout in the first round.
First round KO, man.
Contrarian.
Man, I was trying to build Rickles up like he was a contender, and you guys all knocked the shit out of that. Fair play.
Yeah, okay. Exactly how he's going to feel on the night, I guess.
Yeah, pretty much, mate. Yeah. Let's look at co-main event. It's for the middleweight crown, and a guy I'm a huge fan of is the Moose. Challenges Rafael Cavallo for this Bellator middleweight title. Let's start with Matthew. Matthew, who is walking out of this one as Bellator's middleweight champion?
Well, I'd like to say it's going to be fight of the night, because this is going to be incredible. Like, these guys, I think 31 and 32 respectively, peak in their careers. But I like to look at stats when I'm like predicting and stuff. Mousasi has 51 fights. Carvalho only has 16. I mean, that experience, this big stage, will it come into play? Maybe. That's not to say that Carvalho doesn't have a promising future. I think it's his last fight on his Bellator contract, so win or lose, I'd probably see him in the UFC. So yeah, he likes to use strikes and kicks and looks good on his feet. Constant pressure. I mean, I like to see his fights. His is a name that I always look out for when Bellator have a card going, so I always look out for him. Mousasi, I forget why he left the UFC, because I think he was on a bit of a decent run. Yeah, why did he leave the UFC?
I think it probably had a falling out with Dana or something. You know how it goes.
Yeah, probably.
I think it's just very lackluster in some of his UFC fights. Didn't really do much, and I think that was what kind of bored somehow. And I don't think they renewed his contract. Is that what they did? Somehow.
Yeah. I'm sure his last fight was. I mean, was that another one he beat the piss out of Weidman, and he was trying to do that hold the floor, get him DQ'd shit, and then that was it. It was off to Bellator.
But he's on a great run. So I think I'd like to see Carvalho win, because he is a little bit younger and he's probably got more of a career ahead of him because he's had such less fights than Mousasi. But I can't really split them. I'll go for Carvalho because I hope he does win. But I could see it going to Mousasi because he's bloody good. He's really good.
Love me some Moose. Darren, how about you? Carvalho retains. Mousasi new champ. What you got?
Well, just to sort of preface my decision, I think Mousasi, he has experience, but some would say he could be possibly, a lot of years at fighting as well, and that could take its toll. He could be just at the end of his career in this fight, and I think his experience won't let him get in too much trouble. But I don't think he's got the sort of, I don't know, just the pizzazz anymore, to really go for it. And Carvalho, obviously, he's the champ and he's explosive. To me, I kind of feel it might go the distance, but obviously, you're not gonna take the belt away from someone through the distance if it's not one-sided, obviously. So I think Carvalho's going to retain it through, going the distance in this fight.
I hope it goes distance.
Yeah, I think so.
Kev, your predictions for the co-main event, is it Ann Still or is it Ann New?
I wanted to be the only one that was going to pick Rafael Carvalho, but doesn't appear that's going to be the case, and so I'm not going to switch my pick. But I love Gegard Mousasi too, man. I've always liked him ever since I was watching him fight over there in Japan.
Yeah.
But with that being said, his stand-up game is on point, but it's there's what to expect. And I do think that Rafael Carvalho has heavy enough hands to keep him at a distance and to close that distance and put him on the cage. And I think the champion makes a very ugly fight of this, and fights him on the inside, keeps him on the cage, and that's I think it's going to be a very grinding affair. And that's to say if he wins, and if Gegard's having his way, I think you'll see him, fighting at distance and having a kickboxing match, which is the way that he likes to do things. But I just, I think that the power that and the explosiveness, as some of our other panel members had mentioned, he has a way of getting inside and making you work for it, and he's not going to let Gegard work from the outside and do his thing. I think this is a very good test for him to decide whether or not he wants to re-sign with Bellator. And thing to remember when we're thinking about what his future holds, Bellator treats their guys very well. There's a very family atmosphere, and guys that fight over there, most of them are very happy fighting over there. And so I think this is a test for him to see if he could go over and hang in the UFC. But I think when he passes this test, that he'll be very content on being a big fish in the smaller pond at Bellator, and know that he will be treated the right way over there, as all those guys are. So I'm looking for him to retain, and it's just it's one of those storybook deals, man, where it just doesn't pan out all the time in Bellator. And Gegard Mousasi, he does have those miles on him, but I think Cavallo makes him fight his fight, and when he does, I think it's a grinding affair, and he gets beat up for the 5 rounds, and it goes the distance. UD Rafael Cavallo.
Nice decision. Guys, last bit of business for Bellator's card is the main event. We're just a wee bit short on time, so if you can keep this one brief. Also, I'm not too happy about it, to be honest. I'm not too thrilled that it's the main event. But it's big country, it's Crow Cop, and that's my bias playing a part. I'll start with Kev. Kev, what's your pick in the main event, mate?
Well, do we know that Crow Cop's not eating tainted meat, or what the hell he's putting in his system over there, man? I mean, I guess he's barely out of his suspension. So I know he went over there and fought in Russia while he wasn't suspended. I can't get behind Roy Nelson, dude. I just can't. I can't ever get behind him, dude. If I could get behind him, I would. You wouldn't be able to see me.
Hey.
The dude's. I don't know. I mean, Roy Nelson definitely walks the beat of his own drum, and there's something to be said for that. But Mirko Crow Cop, man, I mean, he's not the type of guy that you're gonna fight go 3 rounds with. Yeah. I mean, he's still got power in those legs, man, and God knows what he has in his system. Roy Nelson has cheeseburgers in his system, so
that's it, mate.
Country Boy will survive, but he's not going to survive this one.
Darren, give me your pick. Crow Cop and it's Big Country 2. This is the rematch, isn't it? What's your thoughts, mate?
Yeah, well, 2 legends essentially of the sport, and obviously Mirko coming over from Pride. I think this one is going to go the distance. I think Mirko is not the same as he was, obviously, and Roy Nelson is notoriously tough, and I think they'll end up just slogging it out for all the rounds. And I think Mirko takes it. I think he might wobble Roy a few times, but I think Mirko will take it in decision.
Has Roy ever been stopped?
Yeah, Mark Hunt. Of course it was. Walk away, KO.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But that's it. He might use that against him. He's not going to be put away very easily.
No, I mean, that's Mark Hunt we're talking about. That guy puts a lot of people away. But yeah, I know what you're saying, mate. Last one, Matthew, your pick. Crow Cop, Nelson. How's it go down?
Well, I'm just going to assume for this prediction that Crow Cop is clean. Let's just say he's clean. He probably isn't, but he's clean. He is on a good run. He's unbeaten since 2013. We know what he's good at. He's a great kickboxer, great striker. Nelson, okay, he is a legend for, all his years in the sport. But he's not that great. Like, come on. Like, he's a legend, yes. But since 2013, he hasn't put 2 wins together. So, he has got a great chin on him. But that's not skill. That's you can take a punch. It's not it's not skill. You can condition your chin, but you can't. It's just what you're given with. So Crow Cop win by, well, I would say KO, but Nelson hasn't been stopped since Mark Hunt. So if they can actually stand up for, is it 5 rounds or 3?
Oh, I don't know. Did Bellator do 5? I think it must be 3. Yeah.
3. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so unanimous decision, Crow Cop win, domination. Roy Nelson, fair play to you for all the years, but come on, it's probably time now for you to walk
to
off
hang
into
up your gut.
Yeah,
to hang up your gut. That's it, mate.
Exactly.
He tried to get my boy Derek Lewis pregnant in his fight. Humped him the whole time.
That was a good drive.
He had to go get a pregnancy test after it.
Imagine that. Black Beast turns up to the clinic. What are you going to do? Superb, mate. Guys, let's move on to the final part of the show. It's my favourite, answering fan questions. Quick reminder, the only rule I have is the floor is yours. You don't need to wait your turn. We just throw them out, and if you want to catch them. All from Twitter this week, none from Facebook. So we'll start with @Sarchar, I think I'm pronouncing that right, who says, can't believe they have Nelson versus Crow Cop as headliner over a title fight between 2 killers. Pretty much sums up everything that is wrong with Bellator. Man, what a hater, Sarchar.
Welcome to the party. This is how we do things over here at Bellator.
Fucking hell, man.
Yeah, well, I partly agree. That main eventing over the title is just ridiculous. But it's not everything that's wrong with Bellator. You know, every organisation has its issues, but you know, the decision to have it main eventing. I'm not sure why. I'm not sure why. Like, neither of them is British, so baffling, really.
It seems like they're just banking on the legendary status of both the sort of main eventers. That's what, I mean, we've had fights like that in the past with Bellator. They've sort of had legends fighting off, and that's been the main event. So I think they've just continued that thematic thing with their fights recently, you know.
I think that's it. Marquee value in it. It's see if it sells some more tickets. Let's move on with at Pete 1981 Bristol, who says, what's happened to MVP's pro boxing career? He had that one.
It got put on hold because he was in negotiations with Bellator. I think he was meant to be on the undercard of Bellew Hay 2, but Bellator said no because we want you on Bellator 200. That's why.
There you go, mate.
Can't kick people in boxing. That's what
Can't kick people in boxing. That's a fair point, mate. Aye.
I thought it was a strange decision to do that because we're sort of waiting and anticipating on him progressing with his career, and it seemed like it was like, you know, we're not going to see him get to the point where we want to if he just keeps doing things like taking a boxing fight. You know, just like we want to see him in the UFC, and I don't think that'll ever happen.
Yeah, it would be nice though, wouldn't it?
He wants to do all three. I think if he's allowed to, I think he'll just keep progressing all three if he can.
Yeah.
It won't work though. Because he won't sort of progress very much because he won't be able to do. No. He won't get a decent run together. But
he's going to need to pack a lot of Pokemon balls as well when he gets to finishing off. Anyway, let's move on. At Craig XVI, or was that 16 in Roman numerals? I don't know. He says, for the UK fans, this will probably be shown the day after Saturday the 26th on Spike. It will not. Was it? If not, it will be the following Saturday night. I might be slightly off, but the bottom line is it's still shit. Why can't they show it live here in the UK? Have they not changed that up? I don't know.
Is it not live?
I thought
it was live.
It was
9 p.m. over here is
9 p.m. Yeah.
Craig, get your shit together and stop talking in Roman numerals.
Stop leading our fine guest down a leading line of questioning.
Idiots. Anyway, at Cashflow45, when is MVP going to fight real competition? Stop putting him against Cans. Daly versus Page next, I think, regardless of this outcome. Paul Daly, is there a bit of beef between them? No?
Well, he's starting to say he wants to fight him. I think that was the thing that came out over the course of this week, I think, was it?
Right. All right, okay.
Better be careful about calling that man out.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. He's not going to play. No, he's not going to play Pokemon with you. You know?
He's not going to play, but yeah, exactly, yeah. Although
he's bringing a couple balls, but they ain't Pokemon balls.
I saw that. That's it, mate. I saw that John Fitch fight though. Daly was he's not been happy with the promotion for a while. I don't know if the bottom line is, I don't know if he'll stay with Bellator for that fight to happen. That could be a real issue there.
He's probably not making as much money with sort of sponsorship. Like, obviously, MVP's making a fair amount with that. It's untapped over there, I guess. Uncapped, should I say. Mm-hmm. And I think maybe with his image, Paul Daly, you know, with the stuff that he's been through, maybe that's affecting his money that he's making at Bellator, I think, I would assume.
Yeah, just put that rematch with Koscheck. He's at Bellator now. Did they not do that? Or did they do that? Maybe I can't remember.
Koscheck don't want nothing to do with them.
I don't think Koscheck wants anything to do with anyone right now.
We call him old. We call him Old Yellow.
Old Yellow, that's right. Somebody put that dog down.
Put that dog down.
Oh, poor Josh. That's funny though. Okay, one more from Twitter before we wrap up, guys. At Pike MR or Pike Mister, who says, Aaron Chalmers fighting in Bellator next week. You would think he would have a tougher opponent than he's had in his first 3 fights. Yet the kid's record is 4-5. Another hype jog. He's shite. Haha, Bellator 200. That's not a question, mate, but...
would think that he would... somebody might think that he should have a tougher opponent, but they haven't been paying attention to how Bellator does things around here. Welcome to the show.
Yeah, this is not news.
His last 3 opponents in BAMMA were all making their professional debut. So, having a guy he's got 4 wins. So this is the first guy who's actually had he's fighting against who's got a professional win, and he's got 4 of them. Okay, so he's got 5 losses, but a lot more pressure as well at Bellator compared to BAMMA. So, like I said in my prediction, for me, anybody, okay, he's a reality star, but if he trains hard, I think he trains at UTC. So he trains with Fabian Edwards, and I think Leon Edwards, is training there as well a bit.
All right.
So he's training with decent people. It's not like he's in a backyard gym. He's in a decent camp. So if he wins,
and it's not like he's made his sort of I don't think he came up through the smaller organizations, did he? So his early professional career is unfolding on a massive stage. So I think they're just trying to build them up, obviously.
Yeah, and I guarantee, like I said earlier, my little sister will watch it. So Bellator are gonna get a load of people to tune in. They will, and if Aaron opens the main card, it's going to be a big spike for them, I think.
Incredible.
Yeah, get back with me whenever this dude straight up Mickey Galls Aaron Chalmers, and then tell me how fucking soft the opponent was.
Tremendous. Straight up Mickey Galls him. That's tremendous, mate. Well, there you have it, guys. Bellator 200. It's just round the corner, and we're excited for it. Let me extend my thanks to the panel here this evening. Starting with Mr. Kevin Jones of the main event. Kev, thank you so much for your time, sir. Let our people know where we can check out the glorious main event, mate.
Yes, sir. If you're in the Lubbock, Texas area, you are going to be tuning into Double T 97.3 on your FM dial from 8 to 9 Sunday mornings. And, of course, if you're anywhere around the world, you get on doublet973.com. Go to the podcast page, and you can listen to that week's show at your convenience. It's always a pleasure, and I think y'all woke me up. I think I'm ready for a drink, so here we go.
I hope so, sir. To Darren Kinloch. Darren, a pleasure to get you on, mate. Let all the people know about I Am KP.
Yep, it's been great for being on for the full episode. You can find me in all forms of social media. I am KP, and it's IAMKAYPEE. I have my own podcast, I Am KP Podcast. Yeah, just search it and follow me if you enjoy me saying ridiculous stuff.
Awesome stuff, mate. Finally, a big thank you to Matthew Penny. Matthew, let our listeners know all about nature of MMA, mate.
Thanks for having me back on, John. So on Twitter, we're at MMA Nature, and our website is mmanature.co.uk. We're actually looking to expand our team at the moment and get more writers on board. So go to our website or our Twitter, give us a DM, or use our contact us form. And we're looking to build a nice community of people over on our page and getting some good MMA discussion weekly. So looking forward to a good year.
Hit them up, guys. And if you've liked this podcast, be sure to subscribe on iTunes. We're live every Sunday, 8:30pm, talking MMA. Go to facebook.com/martial arts chat, or follow us on Twitter at martial arts chat. I'm John Boy McElroy, and I'll catch you next time on the Roundtable.